begin by praising Allah, and we send blessings and salutations upon His beloved Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, his companions, and all of those to follow him up until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Allah, He mentions in Surah Sad regarding the Quraysh, when they rejected Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they had one question. They said, أَأُنزِلَ عَلَيْهِ الذِّكْرُ مِن بَيْنِنَا بَلْ هُمْ فِي شَكٍّ مِّن ذِكْرِي بَلْ لَمَّا يَذُوقُوا عَذَابِ. That أَأُنزِلَ عَلَيْهِ الذِّكْرُ مِن بَيْنِنَا, that why was he given this dhikr, this Qur'an? Why was he chosen as a prophet from amongst us? They were jealous of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah, He mentions, بَلْ هُمْ فِي شَكٍّ مِّن ذِكْرِ. Rather, they are only in doubt. They have doubt in their hearts regarding Allah's message, regarding the Qur'an. بَلْ لَمَّا يَذُوقُوا عَذَابِ. But rather, they just haven't tasted the punishment of Allah. Then Allah, He continues to say, a very powerful ayah. أَمْ عِندَهُمْ خَزَائِنُ رَحْمَةِ رَبِّكَ الْعَزِيزِ الْوَهَّابِ. That do they have control, any control over the khaza'in, over the treasury of the rahmah, the mercy of your Lord Al-Aziz Al-Wahhab. أَمْ لَهُمْ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا. Or do they have dominion? Do they have any control or dominion over the heavens and the earth and whatever is between them? فَلْيَرْتَقُوا فِي الْأَسْبَابِ. Then let them ascend. Let them go and gather their ladders and their technologies, or in this day and age, their spaceships, you could say, or their rockets, and go up. And then go all the way up to the arsh of Allah, and let them challenge Allah and try and force Him to change His decree. Allahu Akbar. Powerful lessons to learn from this. That number one, it is Allah who chooses how to spend His rahmah, who to bestow His rahmah upon. That even if the Quraysh, or they denied the authority that Allah gave to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it does not change anything. We'll go over 4 lessons from this ayah very quickly. Let's hope we have enough time. The first is that Allah, He mentions in this ayah that He is Al-Aziz, that He is the Almighty. That perhaps you wanted something, and you wanted it really badly. So you kept on asking Allah, but He chose that He didn't want to give it to you. He didn't decree that what you were asking for will be for you. Then who is there that can rise up and challenge Allah so that you can get it when you will never be able to get it? Or perhaps that time when you planned your sin, you made an entire schedule for it. You gathered your friends. We'll go to watch that movie at the cinema, or we'll go to this pub or this club. And then you found that Allah, He cancelled your plan. He stopped you from going for your plan. And at that time you were frustrated, but no matter how much you tried, you just couldn't get your plan to work. That is the might of Al-Aziz, that when He chooses something, who can do anything regarding it? And subhanallah, that when Allah, He chooses to test you, who is there that can take it away from you? You cannot run left, right and center. Bring one person with enough might. Tell them, فَلْيَرْتَقُوا فِي الْأَسْبَابِ. If you don't like what Allah has chosen for you, you don't like the difficulty that Allah has put you in, you don't like the test that He has chosen for you, then go and get your ladder. فَلْيَرْتَقُوا فِي الْأَسْبَابِ. Go and rise, ascend through the heavens, and then ask Allah to change it. Allahu Akbar. But He also mentions that He is also Al-Wahhab, Al-Aziz Al-Wahhab, the one that bestows. Hiba is to bestow a gift and to not even expect anything in return. At this point, when Allah, He bestows His rahmah upon whomsoever He chooses, He's not even expecting anything in return, because Allah, He needs nothing from you and from myself. Allah is Al-Ghani. He's completely free of all need. So then when Allah decides to bestow from amongst some of us extra wealth perhaps, or that some of us may seem to be more righteous than others, and then sometimes we find the people, they become jealous. Why didn't Allah give me? I'm also asking Allah for wealth. Why didn't He give me? I wanted to get married to that person. Why did Allah decree that the other person should get married to them? But your Lord is Al-Wahhab. Your Lord is the one who decrees. Your Lord is the one who gives to whomsoever He wants to give. If you have a problem, فَلْيَرْتَقُوا فِي الْأَسْبَابِ. Go and get your technology and your ladders and rise through the heavens. But the one who gets it, then who is there that can come between that, what Allah gives to you? Nothing can come between. Allah, He mentions in Surah Yunus that وَإِيَّمْسَسْكَ اللَّهُ بِضُرٍّ فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُ. That if Allah decides to send some dur, some harm upon you, some heavy harm upon you, then nobody can take that harm away from you. Nobody can stop that from reaching you. وَإِيَّمْسَسْكَ اللَّهُ بِضُرٍّ فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُ. And then He says, وَإِن يُرِدْكَ بِخَيْرٍ. But if Allah intends to send some khair to you, فَلَا رَادَّ لِفَضْلِهِ. And who can send back His bounty upon you? Who can stop His favor from reaching you? SubhanAllah. From this we learn that we have to have a good balance of hope and fear. That yes, your Lord is the Almighty. If we cross the lines, if we do the same as the Quraysh and deny the authority of the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then the same thing will happen to us. Allah, He mentions that for those who tried to deny and challenge Allah, كَذَّبَتْ قَبْلَهُمْ قَوْمَ نُوحٍ وَعَادٍ وَفِرْعَوْنُ ذُو الْأَوْتَادِ. He mentions right after this that the people of Nuh alayhi salam and the people of Aad and the people of Fir'aun وَثَمُود وَقَوْمُ لُوط وَأَصْحَابُ الْأَيْكَةِ, which is another name for the people of Madian, the people that Shu'aib alayhi salam was sent to. أُولَٰئِكَ الْأَحْزَابِ. They were all the defeated, ready, waiting to be put in Jahannam now. That is what happened. What did they do? What's the single thing that they did? In kullun illa, they did nothing except كَذَّبَ الرُّسُلِ. They denied the messenger. They denied the messenger. May Allah protect us. May Allah grant us all a sound understanding. And so this brings in a sense of hope and fear into our heart. Going back to our ayah, that if Allah chooses, you get close to Allah. Whatever you want, you ask Allah. There's nobody else that you can turn to. If you're in difficulties, nobody's going to help you. No matter who you turn to, they cannot help you. If you want something, nobody can give it to you. Only Allah can. And if you get close to Allah, and He says it Himself, if my slave gets close to me, anything he asks me, I will give it to him. There's many angles that we can look at this ayah from. One of them is shifa for the heart. When it comes to hasad. And hasad is such a heavy thing. It's a natural human instinct that we feel envy at times. It's a natural human instinct. One type of jealousy is praiseworthy. It's called ghira. It comes from a sense of honor that you appreciate and you are grateful to Allah. But the other one, hasad, where now you want to remove from other people what Allah has given them. Many of us, we actually fall into this. Sometimes when we have low iman perhaps, and we see that Allah is not giving us. Maybe you've been asking Him for the past 5 years, but He gave that promotion you wanted to somebody else. You also wanted children, but He chose not to give it to you. You also wanted that same property, but He went to somebody else. Maybe somebody has better looks than you. Maybe somebody has more strength than you. Anything as such. Sometimes the envy, it comes into our hearts. And this was the first sin of Iblis. And he felt envy against Adam alayhi salam. And that led him to kibr. That led him to disobey the command of Allah. And likewise we find for those, if we start getting envy in our hearts, if we don't check it, the same thing will happen to you. Sooner or later you are led towards kibr. And sooner or later you start disobeying Allah. May Allah protect us from such things. But if you have a problem with how Allah spends His rahmah and His wealth on His slaves, فَلْيَرْتَقُوا فِي الْأَسْبَابِ. Then go and get your ladder, climb up. Let's see how far you and I get. You don't like it that somebody else had that woman that you wanted to get married to? You don't like it that somebody else is better looking? Allahu Akbar. And we find that in the ummah today, this is what we're doing. We have all this infighting because we're jealous of one another. He has a better car than me. Now I need to go and compete with him. May Allah protect us. May Allah protect us. The bottom line is that Allah is the only one. He's in complete control. Nothing happens except by the permission of Allah. May Allah grant us all a good understanding. May Allah remove the hasad from our hearts. May Allah remove the hasad from our hearts. May Allah protect us all from the envy that comes into our hearts. Sometimes we even feel it towards our own spouses. We actually come across cases where husbands can be envious over their wives, and wives can be envious over their husbands. How does it work? Allahu A'lam. Oh, she seems to be doing more salah than me. I feel as though maybe she's closer to Allah than me. And so they start feeling envious in their hearts. Exactly like how Iblis felt regarding Adam alayhi salam. And instead of clearing this, that Allah, He bestows upon whomsoever He wants, however He wants, and nobody will have a say, we start drowning in that envy up until we feel as though, okay, I can't be close to Allah. Then they start getting distanced from Him. And then they start disobeying Allah. It's always the same cycle. It always starts off with envy. Envy leads you to kibr, and kibr leads you to the disobedience of Allah. Again, may Allah protect us. We'll keep it over there. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-azim. ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم أقول قولي هذا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد. So the question we may have, and this is the final point we'll cover before we end the khutbah, is that, okay, I want from Allah. What should I be doing? How can I get to the stage where I don't start getting jealous over what the people around me have? Rather, I am content, I am at peace, I am pleased with whatever my Lord has given me. How can you start getting to that stage? How can I start getting to that stage? Number one, it comes to leaving sins. Try your best to leave sins. Whenever you fall into a sin, seek istighfar. This is called developing your relationship with Allah. Taqwa. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah. Have taqwa of Allah. And as you're trying your best to stay away from sins, you also have to make your utmost effort to get closer to Allah. Ensure that your obligations are in place. Ensure that even beyond the obligations, as much as you can, wake up for tahajjud. Do adhkar. Remember Allah as much as you can. As you get closer and closer, Allah, He will fill your heart with qana'ah, with contentment. And He'll make you pleased with whatever He gives you. And that is the simple cure for hasad. Again, may Allah protect us all, and may Allah cure us of the hasad in our hearts.